What's up, gamers? The Gam3 Awards are on December 15th, and that means it's time to publish my votes. This year, I'm doing a video series covering all 18 awards, from Game of the Year to Content Creator of the Year and everything in between. It's the premier award show in our space, and while it's a bit early for some of these games that we'll be covering, it's still a really fun way to celebrate the projects that have been building throughout the bear. Gaming is the meta, and these are the best games. Votes have been cast and recordings will be completed today. The plan is to release a video every couple of days covering 3 categories each time. Video number 1, which is covering 3 of my favorite categories, is coming later today. Follow and subscribe so you don't miss any of it. Our first category today, Best Action Game. And for my money, the winner is Big Time. While far from a perfect project, Big Time has captivated Web3 gamers, and it really boils down to a couple of factors. First, the economy is lucrative because of the awesome play-to-airdrop events going on right now. And most importantly, a full party raid is intense action. Overwhelming at first, you'll quickly adjust to the blistering pace and waves of enemies. The fun is complemented by fairly deep skill trees, and speed-based incentives make min-maxing your characters just as important of a skill. Content Creator of the Year is both really tough and really kind of easy at the same time. It's tough because there's a whole bunch of creators that have really stepped up their games in 2023 and truly killed it. However, at the end of the day, this award for me is going to Sam Stefanina. That's because Sam created Gamified. It's the premier Twitter Spaces show in our space. It's impressive because many have tried, but really only Sam has truly delivered consistent, valuable, and engaging content every week. It feels like a real show. Sam, my DMs are always open. Best Mobile Game. This is a category near and dear to my heart because I love mobile gaming. And honestly, these are all pretty fun games. It's one of the categories that I actually think I'm probably going to get wrong. NFL Rivals is quite popular, though I wonder how many of their players are going to go out and vote. Axes remains really popular, and its community is super duper active. But at the end of the day, I'm voting with my heart. Fableborn. The project has been well run even when it wasn't getting attention, and at the end of the day, it's truly the only one of these 5 that I expect I'll be playing in 2024. Best Adventure Game. This one is extra special for me. I have Zelda hearts inked on my chest. I love adventure games. This is the only category where I own NFTs for all 5 nominations. As excited as I am for Ember Sword, it's really not been released enough yet for me to consider here. Big Time is going to get a lot of love in other categories too. Illuvium Overworld and The Beacon are really fun games, but honestly they haven't held my attention for all that long. Phantom Galaxies has been a little bit up and down since the project launched, but they've had a really strong finish to the year. At the end of the day, I just can't decide on this one. So I'm gonna let hours played break the tie for me. It's pretty close between Big Time and Phantom Galaxies, but the reality is that Big Time forces me to spend a lot of time searching for a party, and Phantom Galaxies lets me jump right in, so that's where my vote goes. Best Casual Game. For my money, it's My Pet Hooligan. Pretty easily, in fact. In my opinion, a casual game should deliver some awesome and fun content. And maybe they just did the best job recruiting content creators, but My Pet Hooligan takes this one and it's really not all that close. Best RPG. Another category that I care really deeply about. And honestly, it's a bit sad not to see Guild of Guardians on the list, though they clearly don't deserve to be. Star Atlas on this or any list is truly hilarious. What could have been? RPG will be a really competitive category someday, but today, Big Time is just way ahead, and I can't see how any serious voter goes any other direction. Best Strategy Game. Honestly, Parallel is just so far ahead of everybody else right now that it's kinda not fair. I'm gonna look biased and everybody knows that I'm a Parallel maxi, but it's the truth. One look at the leaderboard and you can see that they've attracted players from Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone, the Web2 leaders in TCGs. We can probably thank Allie for a lot of that because she shared an exciting Web3 game with her otherwise Web2 audience. And that's one of the big reasons why she's going to get a lot of votes for Creator of the Year as well. Next up is Best Graphics, and honestly, all 5 of these truly look wonderful. Graphics is a lot of personal taste though, and none of these really stand out so much that I think you really have to vote for that one. Shrapnel is the best realistic looking graphics in my opinion, but Wildcard went for more of the cartoony animated look that I tend to prefer. I'm a sucker for bright colors, so Wildcard is an easy choice for me. But there's no bad votes in this category. Well, maybe Star Atlas is a bad vote, but not because of the graphics. Best Shooter. Honestly, I'm not a shooter kind of guy. It just isn't my genre. I've played Mighty Action Heroes, but only because it's a mobile game, not because it's a shooter. These are some cool projects though, and I'll probably give Metalcore a look at some point because mechs are cool, but I have to abstain here. Dead Drop looks really exciting and I think it likely wins this one, but I'm not going to vote in a category that I didn't play honestly at all. Everyone is hyped for Shrapnel, and the reality is they probably win this category. But is this where Star Atlas has a chance? Despite losing more than half of their treasury and no chance of the game ever releasing, people still seem pretty excited. Despite me owning nothing, the game that I most can't wait to play is Treeverse. They've been grinding away during the bear, and they've got one of the best founders in the space with Loopify. Treeverse gets my vote. In all seriousness, So Rare and Gods Unchanged are absolutely worth considering in this category too. The category's got lots of really good games that didn't get nominated as well, but the reality is that Parallel stands alone, just not for lack of competition. Best Fighting Game is another category that's getting really competitive. I really like AI Arena, but my interest is a bit more on the tech side than on the game side, which is really just a Smash Brothers twist. But Smash Bros is a fun game, and AI-trained fighters playing is a fun twist. Training your AI fighters isn't as much fun as I'd like, but it's still early and that likely improves. My vote, however, is going to Champions Ascension. The old Sally Raid event was a big challenge and a lot of fun, despite the fact that my friends and I failed to beat her. In fact, those friends will tell you that I am an overly competitive person and do not enjoy losing. So when I fail your PvE event, but still had a lot of fun, you have done really well. Best Multiplayer. We've finally reached a Parallel nomination that I'm not actually going to vote for. I could make a strong case, but it's mostly just that Parallel is way ahead of the rest of the nominees. Prediction. In 2024, Wildcard will take this one down. That game looks like so much fun, but it just isn't available enough for me to vote for it in good conscience this year. The winner is going to be Big Time. It's an MMO after all, massively multiplayer. Yeah, you can run solo dungeons, and I certainly have myself, but the game has been designed to play in groups of 6, and each player that you add to the team only increases the intensity. I wish finding a party was a little bit easier, but the fact remains that the most fun I've had playing Big Time is when I've got a good party that knows what they're doing. Best Sports Game. Honestly, this is not a category that I really care too much about. To me, a lot of the fun of a sports game is really the sport itself, much more than the actual video game. We love Men because it's the most accurate football game around. However, Sparkball, on the other hand, is unique. Much more about the actual game itself, in my opinion, so they get my vote here. Though I think So Rare probably wins this one. Best Esports. The truth is that in the future, Parallel and really any TCG probably has no chance in this category. But today it's just too far ahead to really be beaten. The Ardent Tournament has been the best esports event in our entire space. The prizes were huge, but so was the viewership. Parallel has what they call bonds, which is essentially an esports team or a guild, but that feature hasn't even been established yet we still have serious, well-established bonds within the ecosystem. One of those bonds, Exile, helped the Parallel team put on an awesome production to watch the tournament live. It was like watching poker, except without the 20-minute waits for a decision. The prizes were huge, and the community hosts tournaments at least weekly, so it's never difficult to find a competitive game. The people's choice. In my opinion, it's Illuvium. Illuvium is a bold project that's really 3 games in one today. It's just a little bit too early for me to give them a vote in some of the other categories, so I'm giving them the nod here, where I honestly have no idea how I'm supposed to judge these games. I like votes for Gods Unchained or Pixels here too. Best on-chain game. A niche that I really don't care too deeply about. The technology here is very cool, but it's also quite limiting today. Pirate Nations gets my vote because it's the only one of these games where it actually appears to me that the players are having fun. Also, pirates are cool. And next up, it's time for Game of the Year. An easy choice for me. It's Parallel TCG. They've had over 4 months of closed beta, and they've crossed over 500,000 games played. They're delivering at the speed of crypto, or at least close. In Web3 gaming, we're used to long periods of little development because making games is truly difficult. The speed at which Parallel Studios is executing, though, is something Yuga could only dream of. I played less games this year than I would have guessed. The reason is I couldn't stop playing Parallel. The only game that I played in 2023 that I honestly think was better is Nintendo's Tears of the Kingdom. That's how great Parallel TCG has been so far. If you don't believe me, hit my referral link below and get started today.